Good day everyone, I am Sir Jerickson Chua and welcome to Animation One.
Aspiring entrepreneurs need to explore the economic, cultural, and social conditions prevailing in an area. The needs and wants of people in a certain area that are not met may be considered as a business opportunity. So, welcome to our lesson 2, which is on animation, environment, and market. So, before we start our session, let's just have this game called Magic Word. So, I'll give you an example first for us to have an understanding on how the game works. So, we have here the following words: dog, cat, cow, and whale. So, the magic word is mammals. Okay, so let's start. We have here the following words: the sky, sea, trees, soil, and animals. So, these are what? Very good. It's the environment. Next, we have fruits, vegetables, meat, and fish. These are, okay, from the market. Very good. Next, we have food, shelter, clothing, and education. The answer is needs. Okay. Next, we have travel, new phone, luxury car, and jewelry. These are wants. We also have cell phone, cosmetics, apparel, and appliances. These are products. So that's how the game works. Okay, so our learning objective for this session is by the end of the lesson, you should be able to first identify what is the value to the customers. Next, explain what makes a product unique and competitive. Apply creativity and innovative techniques to develop marketable products and employ a unique selling proposition to products and or services. So our key terms for this discussion are as follows. We're going to discuss about product development, understand the customer value, about USP or unique selling proposition, branding, SWOT analysis, the tangible and intangible factors, environment factors, the economic indicators, the players in the market, and the concepts of marketing. An introduction to environment and market. As an aspiring entrepreneur, we need to explore the economic, cultural, and social conditions prevailing in an area by identifying the needs of the community, its resources, available raw materials, skills, and appropriate technology that can help new entrepreneurs seize business opportunities. To be successful in any kind of business venture, potential entrepreneurs should look closely at the environment and market. They should always be watchful of existing opportunities and constraints to take calculated risks. The opportunities in the business environment are factors that provide possibilities for business to expand and make more profit, while constraints, on the other hand, are factors that limit business growth, hence, reducing the chance of generating profit. So let's now proceed to product development. When we talk of product development, we are referring to a process of making a new product to be sold by a business or enterprise to its customers. Product development may involve modification of an existing product or its presentation, or formulation of an entirely new product that satisfies a newly defined customer's needs, wants, and or a marketplace. So we have here an innovation versus an invention. The term development in this discussion refers to collectively to the entire process of identifying a market opportunity, creating a product to appeal to the identified market, and testing, modifying, and refining the product until it becomes ready for production. There are basic yet vital questions that we need to ask ourselves about product development. When you find acceptable answers to this, you may now say that you are ready to develop a product and or render services. These questions are the following. The first one, for whom are the products or services aimed at? Next, what benefit will be the customer expect from product or service? And how will the product or service differ from the existing brand from its competitor? In addition, needs and wants of the people people within an area should always be taken into big consideration. Everyone has his or her own needs and wants. However, each person has different concepts of needs and wants. Needs in the business are important things that an individual cannot live without in a society. This includes basic commodities of consumption, clothing and other personal belongings, shelter, sanitation and health, and education. The basic needs are the essential to an individual to live with dignity and pride in a community. These needs can obviously help you generate business ideas and subsequently to product development. Wants are desires, luxury, and extravagance that signify wealth and expensive way of living. Wants or desires are considered above all basic necessities of life. Some examples of wants or desires are fashion accessories, expensive shoes and clothes, eating in an expensive restaurant, watching movies and concerts, and among others. The needs and wants of people are the basic indicators of the kind of business that you may engage in because it can serve as the measure of your success. Some other points that might be considered in business undertaking are the kind of people, their needs, wants, lifestyle, culture and tradition, and their social orientation. To summarize, product development entirely depends on the needs and wants of the customers. Another important issue to deal with is the key concepts of developing a product. So we shall follow this. So here are the concepts of developing a product. So this is a critical phase in the development of your product. In this stage, the needs of the target market are identified and the competitive products are reviewed before the product specification are defined. The product concept is selected along with an economic analysis to come up with an outline of how a product is being developed. So the process of product development follows the following stages. The first one is identifying customer needs. So we can do this using survey forms, interviews, researches, focus group discussion, and even observation. So an entrepreneur can easily identify customer needs and wants. In this stage, the information that can be possibly gathered are product specification. This stage is very important because it would determine the product to be produced or provided. The second one is we need to establish target specification. So based on the customer needs and reviews of competitive products, you can now establish target specification of the prospective new product and or service. So basically when we say target specification, this is essentially a wish list. Third one is we need to analyze competitive products. It is imperative to analyze existing competitive products to provide important information in establishing product or service specifications. Other products may exhibit successful design attributes that should be emulated or improved upon in the new product or service. Number 4, we need to generate product concepts. After having gone through with the previous processes, you may now develop a number of product concepts to illustrate the type of product or service that are technically feasible and will best meet the requirements of your target specification. Number 5, we need to select a product concept. Through the process of evaluation between attributes, a final concept is selected. After the final decision, additional market research can be applied to obtain feedback from certain key customers. Number 6, we need to refine product specifications. So in this stage, product or services specifications are refined on the basis of input from the foregoing activities. So the final specification are the results of extensive study. So you can project selling price and consider this as one of the stages. Number 7, we need to perform economic analysis. So throughout the process of product development, it is very important to always review and estimate the product economic implication regarding the developmental expenses, manufacturing cost, and the selling price of the products or services to be offered or provided. And the last one is we need to plan the remaining product or development project. In this final stage of concept development, you can now prepare a detailed development plan, which includes a list of activities, necessary resources and expenses, and the development schedule with milestones for tracking your progress. Let's proceed on how to understand the customer value. So, people buy for a reason. There should be something in your product or service that would give customers a good reason to go back and buy more. There must be something that will make your best option for target customers. Otherwise, they have no reason to buy what you are selling. This implies further that you offer something to your customers that will make them value your product or service. So the value you incorporate in your product is called value proposition. So value proposition is a believable collection of most persuasive reasons why people should notice you and take the action you're asking for. It is what gets people moving and what makes people spend for your product and or service. So we have here your sample value propositions, and our goal is to gain creators, provide pain relievers as an example, or and provide goods, products, and services. And our customer, we have your gains, customer jobs, and pains. Okay, so we can provide these services to address the issues of your customer. Okay, so how do we understand customer value? By understanding these elements. So what are the costs? Okay, how is their spending powers, the quality that they want, the services that they want, social interaction, marketing, how do we market it to our possible customers, and the past experiences using their feedbacks. And in order for us to deliver the value of a customer, we need to understand this: benefits over costs. So it should have an equal division to understand the value as seen as by your customers. So benefits includes the product quality and quality of sales and services, and the cost includes the price paid by the customer and the cost of doing your business. So let's proceed to innovation. So innovation is also an important factor in understanding environment and market, because this will allow you to create new products that is not available yet on the market. So innovation is the introduction of something new in your product or service. This may be a new idea, a new method, or a new device. If you want to increase your sales and profit, you must innovate. Some of the possible innovations for your products are the change of packaging, improvement of taste, the color, the size, the shape, and perhaps the price. Some of the possible innovations in providing services are application of new and improved methods, additional feature services, and possibly giving out freebies. Let's now proceed to what we call unique selling proposition. So when we say unique selling proposition, this is the one thing that is not available to your possible competitors. Okay? So it can be a combination of your story, your skills, and your experience. So that can be one way on how you can create your unique selling proposition. So USP is a factor or consideration presented by a seller as a reason that one product or service is different from the other and better than that of the competition. Before you can begin to sell your product or service, you need to understand your target market, and you have to sell it for yourself first. This is especially important when your product or service is similar to other competitors. So, when we say USP, it requires a careful analysis of other business ads and marketing messages. So, if you analyze what they say, and what they sell, not just their product or service or characteristic, you can learn a great deal about how companies distinguish themselves from other competitors. One good way to understand USP is how they present their taglines, how they present their advertisements. Okay, so here are the ways on how to discover your USP and how to increase your sales and profit. Okay, so the first one is we need to use empathy. So when we say empathy, you need to put yourself in the shoes of your customers. You need to focus on the needs of the target customers and forget falling in love with your own product or service. Always remember that you are making or providing this product not for yourself but the target customers. You eventually increase sales and earn profit. Okay? The next one is identifying customers' desires. So it is very important for you to understand and find out what drives and motivates your customers to buy your products or service. This makes an effort to find out and analyze and utilize the information that motivates the customer in their decision to purchase the product and or service. And the last one is we need to discover the customer's genuine reason for buying the products. So this information is very important in decision making. A competitive entrepreneur always improve their product or service to provide satisfaction and of course retention of customers. As your business grow, you should always consider the process of asking customers important information and questions that you can use to improve your product or service. That's why feedback is important in every product or service in the market. Next is we have branding. Branding is a marketing practice of creating a name, a symbol, or a design that identifies and differentiates products or services from the rest. It is also a promise to your customers. It tells them what they can expect from your product or service, and it differentiates your offerings from other competitors. Your brand is derived from who you are, who you want to be, and what people perceive you to be. Branding is the most important aspect in any business. It is an effective brand strategy that gives you a major edge in increasing a competitive market. So, a good product can deliver message clearly, confirm credibility, connect to target prospect, motivates buyer, and concretize your or user loyalty. Here are simple tips to publicize your brand. The first one is we need to develop a tagline. So a tagline is a statement that is meaningful, impressive, and easy to remember to capture the essence of your brand. So we have here example of taglines. So just like KFC, it's finger licking good. We have McDonald's, I'm loving it. Or in the Philippines, love ko to. We have here Nike, just do it. Okay. Apple, think different. We have L'Oreal, because you're worth it. Okay, and so on. There are a lot of taglines, especially here in the Philippines, Filipino products. Okay. Next, after developing a tagline, we need to design a logo. So you need to create a logo that is symbolic of your business and consistent with your tagline and displays it strategically. Okay. Next, after creating your logo, we need to create a brand message, meaning we need to select a key message to communicate about your brand. Okay? After that, we need to sustain a brand quality by delivering a promise of quality to your brand. And always practice consistency by being reliable and consistent to what your brand means in your business. Meaning, we should always provide quality to our customers. Now let's proceed to SWOT analysis. When we say SWOT, this stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So in generating your business idea, you should first identify the type of business suited to your business idea. You should analyze and scan potential environment, Study the marketing practices and strategies of your competitors. Analyze the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in your environment to ensure that the products or services you are planning will offer and will be patronized within an easy to reach target consumers. Okay, so how do we conduct SWOT analysis? Number one, we need to be realistic about the strengths and weaknesses of your business when conducting SWOT analysis. Number two, we need to distinguish between where your business is today and when it can be in the future. 3. SWOT analysis should always be specific and avoid gray areas. 4. Always apply SWOT analysis in relation to your competition. It can be better than your competition or worse than your competition. Number 5, we need to keep your SWOT analysis short and simple. Avoid complexity and over analysis. And the last one is SWOT analysis is subjective. Whether you decide to work for a company or be your own boss, it is essential to be able to identify and study in the environment and market of animation industry in your area or in the Philippines. This way, you can also identify options or alternatives if your original plan will not work and work around your situation to be able to move forward. Assuming that you have decided and taken on the challenge of being your own boss, one of your first steps is to identify where you would like it to physically set up your business. A lot of things have to be considered when trying to find the right environment for your business. Environment in the business context does not necessarily mean the physical location alone. Business environment encompasses how you would like to run to operate your business internally and externally, such as the tangible and intangible business environment. What are the tangible factors? Example of tangible factors are the physical location, like a particular economic and business zone in your area. Accessibility of the location as an availability and sufficiency of transport mode for network, especially of public ones. Proximity of your suppliers and clients as well as your competitors, and the physical layout and structure of your office. Is it presentable enough? Next is the intangible factors. So these are the provisions of government regulations pertaining to your chosen business. The political situation in the locality and surrounding areas should also be considered. The culture and demography of the people, such as population, economic and social status, can greatly affect your market. And the technology available to support the distribution of your products or services all play a great role in identifying the kind of environment you would like your business to be in. So we also have here what we call the environment factors. So the following are the essential environment factors that an entrepreneur should consider when setting up a business. The first one is your natural and physical environment. This refers to the actual physical location of your business, whether it is a store outlet or an office. Ideally, your business address should be situated in a location that will clearly visible and as much as possible in close proximity to your target market. It should be located in an area that is conducive to transact business. Ambient surroundings should be appropriate and easily accessible to your target and potential market. The second one is demography. This refers to the population or size of your potential market and the diversity of their socio-economic groupings such as class, size, status, beliefs, age, and gender. Such factors will influence the kind of product or service you may want to offer. Or such information would allow the entrepreneur to find out what kind of improvement he or she needs to make on his or her product or service and adjust his or her marketing and pricing strategies accordingly. The third one is culture. This refers to the people's way of life. It is important to consider this because as an entrepreneur, you need to create products or services that match the needs of your target market based on their way of life. A good way of ensuring a repeat business with your clients is to create a need for your product or service so you can make them come back over and over. Also, you have to consider the culture of people around your business area. For instance, if you put up your business in a place where crime is rampant and therefore the security of your potential market is at risk, then you cannot expect your clients to come and do business with you all the time. Next is government regulations. The very first thing you need to consider and do is to legalize your business. This will allow you to freely transact and dispense your products or services. But of course, being a legal entity also means that you will find or you have to comply with all the regulations and policies set by the different government agencies concerned in both local and national. This includes the appropriate permits to establishment or store, any safety and sanitary regulation or procedure that has to be practiced and others. Number 5, economy. These can be interpreted as an effective management of production, consumption, and trade of limited goods and services. By and large, economy influences how well goods and services are traded in the market. This could be in terms of a local or global market. The amount of taxes that you pay, the quality of life of the people, and the cost of living are some of the things that are influenced by economy. As an entrepreneur, being sensitive and observant of the economic indicators may prove to be quite essential and useful, especially when making critical business decisions. Generally, these are the economic indicators. The first one is inflation. Inflation is the increase of the general price level of goods and services that could be sustained over a period of time that is usually annual. This determines the buying or spending power of consumers, and the ideal situation is to have low inflation rate as much as possible. Low inflation means consumer can buy more goods for their money, while high inflation means less goods for your money. So let's look at this as a basis of our inflation. So in 1970, the cost of a coffee is about $0.25. But in 2019, the cost of this is $1.59. So this is an example of inflation rate, meaning our money is getting lower in terms of price value. Okay, for example, here in the Philippines, your 1,000 peso can buy more goods in the 1990s compared to this day, where your 1,000 peso, you can just buy a little bit of your grocery. Next is your gross domestic product. So, gross domestic product or GDP is one of the primary indicators about how well our or poor a country's economy is doing within a certain period. That is usually annual. It reflects the gross domestic income derived from the salaries and wages, profits from the businesses, and even taxes collected by the government. An ideal situation in terms of GDP is to keep it high. The higher the GDP, the more spending power a consumer has. So these are the examples of GDP around the globe. So the highest GDP is the US. They have 24.4%, and we have China also as 15.4%, and Japan has 6.13%, and other countries at about 7.45%. So these are their GDPs, and these countries are developed countries. While in the Philippines, our GDP is about 0.39%. Okay, next is the unemployment rate. So the percentage of people who are actively seeking a job but could not find one is what we call unemployment rate. A high unemployment rate means there is less income for consumers to spend. Less spending means less business. So like inflation, the ideal situation is to keep the unemployment rate low enough at the natural level so that it will not drive up inflation. So here is the statistics made by the Philippine Statistics Authority about the unemployment rate here in the Philippines. So we have here the gold legend as the labor force participation, the blue for the employment, this one is underemployment, and the red one is the unemployment rate. So for the April 2020, which COVID-19 strike, 7.2 million Filipinos are unemployed, and some of it are laid off because of the businesses being closed. And now in February 2021, we have 4.2 million unemployed, but the employment rate was higher compared in April 2020. So here are the environment factors. We have the natural and physical environment, the demography, the culture, the government regulations, and the economy. People who aspire to start a business related to animation need to explore the economic, cultural, and social conditions prevailing in the area. The needs and wants of the people in certain area that are not met may be considered a business opportunity. By identifying the needs of the community, its resources, available raw materials, skills, and appropriate technology can help a new entrepreneur seizing a business opportunity. To be successful in any type of business venture, potential entrepreneurs should always look closely at the environment and market. They should all be watchful of the existing opportunities and constraints. The opportunities in the business environment are those factors that provide possibilities for a business to expand and make more profits. And the constraints are those factors that limit the ability to grow and reduces sales and its profit potential. So if you're planning to put up a business, it is important to identify your competitors, especially when you are writing a business plan. To stay competitive, you must understand who your competitors are and what they are offering and how to fit in this competitive environment. If you're running an animation studio or an animation bookstore in your own locality, your services should be directly proportional to whom you are competing against. You need to know how you are trying to beat so that you can position yourself properly. Business competitors are classified in the following categories. The first one is direct competitors. So these are companies that offer the same product or services that are competing for the same potential market. For example, we have Stedler versus Faber-Castell, or we can see here Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. Next is indirect competitors. These are companies that offer alternative products and services other than what you are selling. For instance, the indirect competitor of Pizza Shop is a fried chicken house. But in this case, this fried chicken house can also offer pizzas. Okay? Other examples of indirect competitors, we have Coke and C2, we have Sunkist and Lipton, okay? Or Lipton and Nestle, okay? And we have here Del Monte and Fit and Right. So these are examples of indirect competitors. Next is substitute or new entrant. So these are competitors that compete for the financial resources of your customers but do not exactly offer your business, product, or service. Example, we have DVD rental is a substitute service for cable TV. And these are also examples of substitute goods. There are thousands of products and services available to consumers today. At the same time, there are unlimited opportunities for you to enter the marketplace and compete effectively with a new product or service that is better than those offered by your competitors. Your success in the business will depend on your skill at choosing a perfect product or service. The most important thing that you can do before deciding what to sell is to think. The more you think about the product or service before you bring it to the market, the better decision it will be. So here are the concepts of marketing. So the first one is product development. So one of the key concepts of marketing is determining what the customer wants. You must create products that have unique benefits and features. Consumers do not only consider the physical component of your product, but also the image or brand of the product. The product image or brand determines who will buy, what they will pay, and where the company must sell. An animation bookstore does not simply sell good animation books, but also has an upscale experience, affordable, and quick service. Next is optimal pricing. Every business must research and test its pricing to determine at what point customers will buy enough products to generate enough total profits to justify the price change. What are your expected sales over the first year? You must determine the cost of your doing business. Estimate the probable income and the app expenses. Make sure that the profit left is enough to make it all worthwhile. Next is distribution. Distribution of your product into the marketplace and locations where you sell is another key concept of marketing. Different methods of distribution include wholesalers, retailers, distributors, inside and field representatives, online selling, direct mail, and catalogs. And the last concept of marketing is promotions. In business, it is essential to advertise and promote company's brand, message, and to sell the benefits of the product or service for it to succeed. For a product or service to succeed, it must be the right choice, being sold at the right time to the right customer in the right market. It must be produced and sold by the right company and the right people. What you have to decide is this product right for you? This is according to Tracy 2016. Understanding your customers helps you to sell more. It is easier to identify what products to sell and target them with appropriate offers if you know your customers and their needs. Finding new customers can be done by profiling existing customers. This will help you improve efficacy. If you understand your customers, you can predict what they will buy and estimate how much stocks you need. The right information will let you build up a useful profile of your customers. This typically includes the following: who they are, the age and gender of individual customers, or industry and business size for corporate customers, what they think and believe, things that interest the customers and their opinion of you and your product, and how they purchase, what products customers buy, where and when they buy, and how they pay. So let's proceed to consumer needs and wants through consumer analysis. So you cannot manage a quality service organization unless you understand the nature of what you are providing, fully realize what your customers want from you, and how they perceive you from the start. The success of every company depends on its ability to create products and services that address unmet customer needs. Okay, according to Steve Jobs, you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. You can start with the technology and try to figure out where you are going to sell it. So, once you have identified your customers, we need to have it to four basic categories. Number one, they need to be understood. So customers need to feel that the message they are sending is being correctly received and interpreted. The need to feel welcome. Customers need to feel that they are happy to see and serve them. The need to feel important. Customers like to feel important and special. And the need to comfort. Customers need physical and physiological comfort. Okay? By using who your customers are, you are more able to meet their needs and drive to grow of your business. Let's proceed to market analysis. Okay? Market analysis is very useful in predicting the behavior of your customers. It is the process where the need of customers, target market, and relevant demographics are determined. This information can be used in market segmentation for further steps of market research. One of the objectives of market analysis is to find out information about the profile of your customers that includes demographic, economic, social, and geographical characteristics, and other special interests of the customer that are relevant. So, how do we conduct market analysis? Every successful business plan includes market analysis. because you have to know who your customer is before your business can proceed. The following steps will guide you through the process of conducting market analysis. The first one is you need to identify your target market in terms of age, gender, annual income, occupation, hobbies, and number of children, if any. So you need to find out who will you buy your product, how many types of your product are already on their own and tend to own, and how often they replace the product. Number two is you need to divide your market according to demographics, geographic location, attitude and beliefs, and purchasing trends. By dividing it, it will help you segment your possible customers. Next is conduct market research. Ask them questions like why they bought your product or how they will use it and what they like and or dislike about it. Four, choose which market to serve. Okay, so choose more than one market in order not to become reliant on one demographic, geographic location, and others. Other considerations include which markets your competitors are already selling to and your financial ability to advertise your chosen market segments. 5. Target market projections. Use your market research information to make your projections about who will buy your product and how much they will buy. And last one, write your market analysis. Write a concise market analysis after the information have been compiled using short paragraphs to include your business plan. Distinguish between different markets and provide sources to support your statistical data. So, in summary of our discussion on market, environment, and market, here are the concepts that we need to understand. So, we have product development, customer value, your USP or unique selling proposition, branding, SWOT analysis, the tangible and intangible factors, the different environment factors, economic indicators such as inflation, gross domestic product, and unemployment rate, the players in the market, it can be a direct or indirect and substitution, the concepts of marketing, okay, product development, optimal pricing, distribution and promotion, and the different market analysis. So for our practice, to apply what we have learned on our discussion, you need to create a product concept. So you have to answer 3 tasks: product conceptualization, the SWOT analysis, and vicinity map. So for the SWOT and vicinity map, I will be providing additional video for you to watch in order for you to better understand how this works. And for Beta 3, you will answer the market analysis and product development report, which includes the following. You will have a market analysis report of the information needed and product development report that can be seen on your activity sheet. So for our quote of the day, it's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. So we need to really understand ourselves, okay, on how we can be a very good boss of our own business. This is according to Roy Disney. So as future entrepreneurs, are you ready to make your own business and be your own boss? So let's see, when you graduate as an animator in the future, I hope that you can create your own company that can benefit the people of the Philippines.
Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have learned many things from our discussion. See you on our next lesson. Keep safe and God bless.